Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we'll start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory
To Allah, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash.
the one of our apostles and elders. Is you on? No.
No, it's on. This is the camera's flipped up.
The one of our apostles and elders that great us on real well. Keep that case to the hope of the lesson. All right, in this lesson, we'll get into what is the MOTB, why we should not take it, and what's the result if we do take it. All right, so without further ado, go ahead and start Revelation 13. No, my father.
So Revelation 13, verse 16, it says, "And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead."
Okay, it said, and he calls all. So first and foremost, before we get into what is the mark, let's get into who is the beast. All right, what is the beast? So you understand who's going to be implementing this, who's going to be pushing this on you. You can jump to verse 1.
Revelation 13, verse 1, it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, saw a beast rise up out of the sea."
Real quick, too, when it says I saw a beast, it's not talking about a monster or anything. It's actually talking about a person, people. You can go into that word real quick, beast. You pretty much go down to metaphor and say metaphorically, yeah.
So this is the word beast, the letter. It says metaphorically, or metaphor says a brutal, bestial man, savage, ferocious.
All right, and that's going to Esau, Edom, man. The scripture talk about when you go like Apostle Peter spoke about those brute beasts, you know what I'm saying? So without reason, without understanding. All right, and Apostle Paul also called what Esau, let there be any profane person, you know, as Esau. But this is speaking about the kingdom of Esau, all right? And he's prophetically tied to the end time, all right? And this MOTB that we get into, this is an end time prophecy, right? So you can bring that verse back. No, verse 6. No, 1.
Revelation 13, verse 1, it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea."
And the sea representing the people. You can read that Revelation the 17th chapter. Right?
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Right, and those 7 heads and 10 horns representing the NATO and EU system. But even the ancient Rome, you know, had vassal states. Okay, go ahead.
It says, "And upon his head, on his horns, 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy." Verse 2, it says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard."
Yep, that's going to what Esau, Edom, the beginning, what they say civilization started with the Greeks. All right, you can tell that, I believe, that's Daniel the 7th chapter. Go ahead.
Daniel 7 and 6. "After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of
Real
it."
quick, go up and then jump it now. What city?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, go ahead.
All right, Daniel 7 and 6, it says, "After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and the dominion was given to it."
All right, real quick, that's it on that verse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't got to go to 7. But yeah, that leopard is speaking of who? Alexander the Greek. All right, and what's that? Those 4 wings, 4 wings upon the back of the fowl. Going to his 4 generals. And you had the Ptolemy Empire, Antiochus. Well,
Antiochus.
like
No,
make
he
it.
wasn't a part of the boom. So
So
the
Seleucus,
yeah,
Ptolemy.
Cassandra.
like to make it, right?
That's him.
So you go back.
Revelation 13, verse 2, it says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear."
And that's representing Russia. So this is zoning in and honing in on Esau, Edom. Go ahead.
It says, "In his mouth as the mouth of a lion."
All right, now speaking about Great Britain, continue.
It says, "And the dragon gave him his power,
Yep.
and his seat and great authority."
Yeah, and that dragons represent ancient Rome, because that's how Esau Edom gained his power. You know, because even with the Grecians, they was pretty much warned against each other. You know, that's why the beginning of the Roman Empire is considered what the Greco-Roman Empire. You know, so this is all Esau Edom situation. His whole system come together.
Revelation 13, verse 3, it says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Yep, and that head that was wounded, just speaking about Rome. Go ahead.
It says, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
Yep. Grab Revelation 20. Yeah, start at verse 1. Grab that. You got something?
Oh, no, this is Revelation 20, chapter 20, verse 1. It reads, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
Yep, and the bottomless pit is representing Europe, and going back to that dragon, going to Rome, right? What Rome fell, all right? The pagan Roman Empire, right, was overtook by Jake, starting I believe Nerva. Go ahead.
Verse 3 is and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosened a little season.
He must be loosed a little season. So you can go back to that Revelation 13 chapter, but it's going to what? That one of the heads being wounded. Okay? But he wasn't completely dead, that he was wounded, but he did live, correct?
Yeah, that's going into when Western Rome had fell, and going into the time of the dark, so-called Dark Ages.
Right.
You know, that's going into Constantine, the Byzantine Empire. Okay, and then that deadly wound that was healed, going into the Renaissance era.
Revelation 13, verse 4.
Read 3 again, what we show?
Revelation 13, verse 3 says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed.
Yeah, his wound was healed, which we just went through in Revelation 20 chapter, right?
All the world wondered after the beast.
Yeah, and all the world wondered after the beast. So what? That beast ended up coming back around. Started with Great Britain, but then what? Out of Great Britain came America. All right. So in America is also known as that horde to the front of the beast. So what? Those that NATO and EU came back. You know what I'm saying? Rome and its vassal state came back. It's just spearheaded by America. All right, go ahead.
Revelation 13, verse 4 says, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast.
And that dragon again, which is Rome, because Rome, with modern day Rome is who? America. So America is fueling this beast system, which is NATO and the EU. Go ahead.
Again, Revelation 13, verse 4, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him?
Who was able to make war with him? Why? Because the NATO and EU is stretching forth. Their hands can touch pretty much anything on the four corners of the earth. All right? That's pretty much, they created that to battle against the USSR. But now end time prophecy is bringing Russia back. But what? Not everybody, they marvel at this beast. Like, who can make war? Who can make war with this beast? Right? And that's why when it's time to push this MOTP, which we're about to get into, hey, these other nations can't even make war with it. So what are you going to do? Because he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor. So how can you defend your stuff? All right. So you can go back to verse 16.
That's why it says in James 7th chapter, when Roman Empire got into power, it said who devoured, in broken pieces. It was just going in on their dominance. Like the brother said,
I got a quick precept up the shop, and the brother said, who was able to make war with this beast, that NATO and that EU system. But I believe in Revelation 20, all right, it was that whose head is like a leopard and his feet like unto the bear, talking about Russia. Because once NATO started basically getting too close to Russia, what happened? Russia was like, hey, I keep telling y'all keep expanding NATO, and basically America, the horde that rides upon that beast, America is basically forcing its EU counterparts to basically intrigue on Russia. All right. So once they got to that point, Russia's like, all right, hey, that's where the line is drawn. You put missile defense systems over in Europe, basically, and which is a defense tactic. So when Russia shoots their missiles off, before they can get to high altitudes and get to top speeds, they got missile defense systems over in Europe already to basically stop it. But the point is, this Job 14:5, It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed him bounds that he cannot pass. So once NATO, America, EU start basically getting too close to Russia, that's when Russia's like, hey, the line was drawn. All right, so who's able to make war with the beast? And that's that bear being at his feet, like, hey, this is where the line is drawn. You can no longer extend your empire. All right, this is where it stops.
They had they had an agreement that those regions, those men supposed to be like a neutral zone where neither one of them was supposed to invade. Read that real quick. Revelation 17:3. And it reads, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
Yeah, now, woman is representing America. Okay? And that beast, like we just said, is NATO and the EU. So sitting upon it, this is who's controlling the NATO and the EU. This is the leader of the NATO and EU. NATO and EU. This is the leader of the beast. All right. So if America say go there, hey, the UN coming. Okay. And you know what I'm saying? They can send economic hitmen. They will do whatever they got to do. They will uproot one. All right, and place call the coup and place a puppet leader there. And it's all spearheaded by America. NATO and EU, that beast is not moving without the say so of America. Wait a minute,
that scarlet color, dyeing anything red back in the ancient world was expensive. So it's going into as the scriptures call America, the golden cup in the Lord's hand. It was been made rich. Okay, America is a rich nation, and also red being Esau, man. Which we know the whole beast is a red beast. But the colors going into its the riches. Its position in the whole world. It's far richer than the other nations. Far richer than any other of the 7 heads. Okay, the 10 horns. Right.
It says full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Going back to those 7 heads and 10 horns that was reading about in Romans the 13th chapter verse 1. All right, so just as Rome had all those Germanic tribes up under them, and then the 10 horns going to those. What was the name of those 10 horns like in the Roman Empire time?
Yeah,
you ain't got the name like the Anglo-Saxons. You ain't got the name, but pretty much, Rome, they already had that region. They basically had you vassals, but another name. Yeah, like subordinate nations that supported them. Because instead of just coming in to to conquer a nation and rule them like that, eventually they would what? It would be an uprising. So what they pretty much just infiltrate these nations and made them pay taxes, tributary. All right, you finish that?
It's a little more verse 4.
No, don't worry about it. So now that we got who the beast is, we got that established. Now let's get into who is this he. Well, we know who the he is. That's the beast. The NATO and the EU. So now we're going to get into his mark. That he's pressing upon the whole world. That's why I say he calls us all. Go ahead.
As the brother thoroughly went into, what beast has 10 heads, 10 horns. No actual beast on the planet Earth that has that. You can't find an animal on the planet right now that got 10 heads, 10 horns, roughly correct. 7 heads, 10 horns, slightly. So as a brother thoroughly broke it down, it's the metaphor.
Right.
Talking about power structure.
Because if you went into that word beast in the first verse and said metaphorically, so that shows what like Apostle always say is written in similes, metaphors, and ultimately the scripture has to be read in spirit. And that's why the Lord said He doing nothing but reveal His secrets unto His servants the prophets. So anybody, that's the cheat code that the Lord gave to His prophets. So anybody can't pick it up. The book of Isaiah say they took the book to a sealed book, and they said, behold, you got to take it to one that is learned. And it's not a but. This is just the spirit of God, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because these are cold messages that to the point that only the prophets will be able to speak and only the elect will be able to receive it. It's not made for everybody. But go ahead, Michael.
Revelation 13, verse 16 says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond.
Go start up some. Go to like verse start
can go from there.
You gotta go into how he's gonna push it out there, and it starts off with that verse 11. Go ahead.
Revelation 13, verse 11, it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon."
Yep, and there was two horns going to this what bipartisan system. Bipartisan system. All right. Going to what the Republicans, the Democrats, just like in the time of Rome, they had the plebeians and the patricians, you know. But what he spake as a lamb, but he had two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. So it's pretty much two wings, one bird. You know, they still pushing the agenda. Go ahead.
Draconian, Draco, harsh.
Because the brother just went into the beast and that horse that rideth upon the beast, okay, being America. Okay, so how is that beast how is that horse steering the beast? And it's through its policies, man. And they do it through the government. Okay, the way that they you know, the laws that they're passing, like they just passed the bill, it's like S-682 or something like that, which restricts, it bans, you know, things like TikTok, but it also limits a lot of other things. And actually, they have sentences, a minimum of like 20 years if you found trying to get into something that they deem, you know, something that you can't watch. You can go to minimum 20 years and a minimum fine of 250,000, or up to if they find out that you were intentionally trying to get to the, you know, to these different sites like TikTok and other shit, which we already know where they going with that. You know, the men of the Lord are going to be banned. So they find you trying to find those videos, they said up to $1 million, bro, a fee. You know?
Going for a strict act.
And real quick, I'll try if I can make a point. Revelation 18:1, it says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, which is future prophecy, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird." Was basically a desert creatures. Right, you read about that in Isaiah. And it's the point El Sahar hit this topic today. To sum up what the brother Mayam was talking about, says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." All right, so you fall on her ways, you drunk of her wine. All those laws and stuff being passed, you know, basically you have to abide by those. They forcing the cup. They force, if you don't just willingly drink it, they're gonna force the cup down your throat. All right, it says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her," spiritual fornication. It says, "And the mercies of the earth have waxed rich," all right, scarlet, "through the abundance of her delicacies." So her policies being passed, you basically worshiping the beast, and you falling out his ways as you drinking, all right, of that wine, of her cup. Exactly.
Real quick, that's what Scripture said. Who can make war with thee? To the point like who can resist? You know what I'm saying? They not strong enough to fight back.
Yeah. And Babylon, talking about mystery building Babylon, not talking about ancient Babylon, talking about America. So that little horn spoken about in James 7th chapter as well. America has code name. But like the brother was beautifully expounding on how the Lord set up the scriptures in parables, you know, in secrets, you know, in code. You know, like that's why the scripture in Amos, the 3rd chapter, 7th verse said, "Surely the Lord God Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, nothing really secret." These are secrets, right, that have been sealed. This is now, because if we knew, let's say it was plain and simple that America was virgin daughter of Babylon. If we just said America, Bible would have been destroyed. Right. You know?
Yeah. They would have named it something else.
Yeah.
America something else, you know?
Yeah.
Verse 12, Revelation 13, verse 12, says, "And he exercises all the power of the first beast."
And by now, real quick, and by now you should know who that first beast is. We already went into that. The head, you know what I'm saying, Rome. But all those conglomerate nations that Rome had at that time, you know, now America is back exercising the same power that Rome was exercising then. Baby, bro.
Revelation 13, verse 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed.
And if I can add real quick, we see that that's what they project. That's the vibration. That's how we know who these Edomites are. You know, it's not a secret onto us because the Lord has revealed it onto us. Onto the world, it's a secret because we see that clearly. Esau, Edom, is the so-called white man, like the scripture says in Obadiah, thou that dwell in the clefts of the rock. You know, we know that Esau habitation goes back into those cave dwellers. Okay, this is why they're called Caucasians, man. You know, we know all throughout America, you see nothing but ancient monuments and Roman structure. You know, so it's evident.
Revelation 13, verse 13, he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Yep. Hey, America wasn't scared to drop that bomb over there in Hiroshima. You see? Rain and fire. You know what I'm saying? He don't mind bombing a nation to get one person, to get whatever he wants. You see?
Verse 14, Revelation 13, verse 14, it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Real quick, if I may say, you know, part of that, the missiles dropping and everything else, you know, that goes along with that was the technological advances that he made to even get to that. You know, that was a big deal back then. It was a whole effort from you know, Russia, that they had their scientists that they were taking from Germany, and America too, that had their scientists, from which are the wise men of Tienen. Okay, you know, they had Albert Einstein, which they snuck over here to America. They had the whole Manhattan Project. It took a lot for them to come up with how to do this, how to split an atom. You know, there's something that you can't even see. They was able to come up with technology that was able to split an atom and cause an explosion like that. So imagine even more now in these last days where technology, like it says in Daniel, what's that, 12? Yeah, knowledge shall increase, man. Okay, so it got to the point to where people marveled at the beast. They were like, wow, who can do something like this? Make fire rain from heaven like that?
Right, brothers.
Right, yeah. Yep. And then look, you know, the whole world bowed down to this beast after that shit. They were like, yo, we don't want that to happen to us. Apparently these dudes dropped that shit on you. It wasn't just talk. They actually dropped two of them boys. You know?
Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Exactly. The earth is given to the hands of the wicked. So they say that this beast was given power. This is all because Malaki, you got that Daniel 4. Daniel 4:17.
You go to the word hand, it's yad, or a yed, and it says hand of man, strength, power. You know, backing the brother up. You know, the power of the earth was given into the hands of the wicked.
Why the Most High is not a man that he should lie. All right. Isaac blessed Esau, you know, for the fatness of the earth to rule by the sword. Yes. But yeah, so basically, the Most High, he kept his word. So that's why Esau Edom is reigning terror. That's why he has this power of the sword to do the things that he do. You know, that's why this beast, that's why his deadly wound was healed. That's why he came back. You know, NATO and EU been spearheaded by America because this is the word and the plan of Yahweh Bashin Yahushua. You know, and going into end time prophecy, what it say, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So Esau Edom has to be in power right now, prophetically, you know, and in order to usher in the return of Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
Right. Real quick, let me get this in Habakkuk chapter 2, and start at verse 1 real quick. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am approved or reproved. For the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, man. And the vision of Esau, Edom, and who he is, who the beast is, and all these different things being revealed, okay, has been made plain upon tables by the prophets, man. Okay, and now is this time for the world to start, or for the world to start seeing what this bitch really is, man. It's nothing but a dragon, okay, and it's seeking to devour you, as the scripture says. Esau, Edom, as a roaring lion, seeking to how's it go?
Seeking whom he may devour.
Seeking whom he may devour, man. This devil is ready to sink his fangs into you, man. Literally. And bring these things out. But see, these prophecies, they had their time, and now is that time for these things to be revealed upon the earth, man. Okay, and you read further on down, it goes on to talk about Esau, man. All right. So real quick, verse 5, it says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. And you see, the brother read earlier that all the other nations were basically duped by drinking of they were made drunk by the drinking of the wine of this place, man. And see, this is how he's gotten off on these nations and put all of these nations in the predicament that they're in now, so that he can implement this MOTB. Okay, which for the longest time you've been seeing these other nations going through it, catching all types of hell. Their economies being brought down, certain systems being put into place, and now it's starting to happen with America. See, all these things were he was gearing up these other nations so that at the last he can set up you simple ass Americans, because you've been seeing it portrayed on the news, all these nations going through it, so that now it's in your mind, and now they're implementing it, and all this technology that's been advancing, then doing a little study course, thing earlier today, just they for shit that's physical labor, they're implementing virtual reality into this thing, man. Into something that's a physical labor. Where you don't have to, you can just stay at your house and you can still do these things off the internet, okay, without having to go anywhere. All right. So this is Esau, Edom. He transgressed by that wine by through his policies, man. Which we know that it's taught in Daniel's. It talks about that he shall cause craft to prosper through his policies, which we know that's talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. But Esau, Edom is doing this shit again here in these last days, man. Okay, through his policies. And I'll finish this verse. Did you have?
I was going to add too, because craft goes back to what creation. He's creating that crafty device. You know what I'm saying? So he's by his policies, he's going to be able to cause it to prosper.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to do away with the dollar, so you go have to. But go ahead.
That's why I say here he is a proud man, because he transgresses by wine. He's man. Look at these fools. I got these people over here sipping on this juice, just straight up clowns. Look at them, just doing whatever, And it says, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire is hell, and is as death. And how much more desire can he have to have control over you than to take away every single right that you have? He wants to see everything that you do. He wants to know when you take a shit. He wants to know how many times you have sex in a day, man. Remember a couple years back, they had those condoms that tell you how many times or how many pumps you it's stupid shit, man. But these motherfucking devils, his desire is to be like the Most High, man. To know all and to be everywhere at once, man. Okay, and to control everything that you do and limit you. That's an ambitious asshole, man. But see, he's so proud that he really thinks that he's gonna get off on these things, and he's gonna get to it. He's gonna get to the point to where these things are upon the earth, man. But he's not gonna be able to fill his belly. And cannot be satisfied, but gathers unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people, man. And this is what this devil's doing, man. He's trying to take a good census of everybody. Know how much money you got. Know where you going, where you work at, how many people in your household. How much air you breathing. Okay, because you can't breathe too much air. You might start to tax you on it. Okay, which we see in that in movies, man. They've done that shit. All right, but that's pretty much the point on that I wanted to get.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers."
The watchmen are the prophets, man. We telling you the reason why he has this power. What's going on? What?
It reads on. It It says, and the man by the word of the Holy One.
So the Holy One, the Lord reveals doing nothing but he reveals his secrets. All right, so the Lord gave a word to the watchman. So we tell you what the Lord said. Go ahead.
It says, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set up over it the basis of men.
Yeah, the basis of man. That there be any profane person that keeps on, man. You got to see asshole to sell your birthright, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the basis of man. The lowest of the lower he gets. You know, going all the way back to Cain, he slew Abel. You know what I'm saying? The basis of man, you slew your brother. All right, but the Lord set you up. You know, because he's bound by his word. You know, he swear by himself, and he can swear by no higher. But the Lord, anything he speak on, he say he declared the end from the beginning. So whatever he say, it shall come to pass. His word should not return unto him void. So he promised you a time to rule. So that's the only reason why you're ruling. That's the only reason why this beast has this great power. That's the only reason why this whore riding upon the beast again and reaching the four corners of the earth to get control of everybody. They are there in China, like China pushing the digital yuan. No, the elites are the Edomites, man. They got control over all you nations, man.
And this devil, he's so confident in himself and so high-minded that he wants to stay in power because he knows that there's an end to it. Because the scriptures tell us this. Okay, just like Alexander knew that he was in the scriptures, they were broken down to him. Well, Esau, Edom, he knows that his reign got an end to it as well, because he knows that the kingdom of heaven is coming. But he's so high-minded that that's why he's pushing out this mark. Okay, because if he can do that, if he can defile the virgin of the Lord, then he can stay in his blessing. He can stay in his position that he's in. But we know that that's not going to happen. That's why Esau has all different types of ventures going on to try to upset the final prophecy, which is his downfall. He's got all these probes going out into space so that he can try to find the ends of the earth. Okay, trying to figure out ways to block the sun and the moon from coming up in the mornings and nights, man. Because if he can do these things, he can stop the Lord from coming back. The Lord said it in the scriptures, man, that he wouldn't come back at these, he would forget us. Okay, basically. So Esau has all these different things going on all at once to try to do away with his downfall from the prophecy, future events, man. And this is why these things are going to come upon the earth, man, because he's an unruly devil. Okay.
Revelation 13, verse 14.
And that's why the scriptures talk about don't trust your enemies, man. Because as iron rusted, so shall his wickedness, man. It's gonna come out. Just like if you leave iron outside and that rust is gonna come out, so is this nigga's wickedness, man. You just gotta watch him. just stand back, beat a nigga on the corner of the club, and just watch. Okay? Because you're gonna see this man do his wickedness when you actually watch it, man. And that's why the prophets are the only ones that are seeing this shit, because we, the watchmen of the Lord, set up. Lord will be a part of that number, man. We see what this devil is doing. We're the ones keeping up. Now everybody wants to be on these news apps. Now everybody getting news updates on their phone. Right, now everybody got something to say. See? Nigga, you didn't see shit. You don't even know what the hell you're reading. Talking about, man, you people are clowns, man. This shit, man, it is funny when these people come up out of nowhere now talking about these things. It's like yeah, I know about that. I mean, there's not nothing that we saying in a proud sense, but it's just like, bro, just stay in your lane. Let the watchman worry about this shit. You just, hey, maybe the Lord waking you up, maybe he's not. But, at the end of the day, man, a lot of people are deceived to believe that this devil is not the deceiver that he is, man, the serpent that he is, man. Okay? But go ahead and read, because it's going to go into that.
Revelation 13, verse 14, it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
And he got he's healing the lame, you know what I'm saying, with his left hand. That's his left hand witchcraft, you know what I'm saying? That's just witchcraft, you know? You got something?
Yeah, that's why it says in Revelation, 18th chapter and 23rd verse, with like sorcery. Yeah, the nations you go into. Yep, I got it right here. Revelation 18:23, it says, "And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and their voice."
And light, like being illuminated. Why they have the term Illuminati. They have the wisdom. They have the light. Lord say, "Where's the wise man a king? A king." That's a precept to that. As they that candle shall no more shine in thee. And say in Job, the Lord has put up a light. Wisdom, man. He's put his light out. His wisdom. All right. Ultimately, what they're saying is that the destruction that's about to come upon this beast system. All right. Start with America. Okay. No amount of counsel or wisdom is going to be to get them out of this fall that they're about to take.
Voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were great men, where the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all the nations deceived. I believe when you go into that word sorcery, it's pharmakeia in Greek, and going that's where the word pharmacy comes from. And we know the Staphylococcus is a symbol of the medical field, but if you go into that word, it's those that distribute drugs. And we know, when this pandemic had hit, that this came from Esau's agenda, of him saying, here's the problem, but we got the solution. Look what it did, execute his agenda by depopulating, destroying these people.
So just read that again real quick.
Real quick, as the brother mentioned the staff of Asclepius, even that was a deception in its own, because it was going back to, I forget the name of the god, but when they were using it, I believe it was during Rome or Greek. It was the Greeks, right? And they were saying was that they could heal all manner of sicknesses. You just had to drink the snake venom. So they had all these people in there sick as hell, drinking the snake venom, making things even worse. Eventually, people caught on to the shit, but that's what they were selling people, and they made a lot of money off that shit, man. People coming in to pay to get healed of sicknesses, but they were being fed poison, man.
That's their medical field now, right? You got people got a Sunday through Saturday fucking pill container where they just eating multiple pills every day, bro. Especially the Chase woman, bro. That shit fucking crazy. I don't know, everybody grandma had that shit done. Bro. It's fucking dead. Everyone I know had that shit dead. That's a real good. That's a sign. Your people taking that shit. That's a sign they on the way to death, bro. It's over because they giving into that image now. They done conform to Esau's system, man. Trust me, exactly. Go ahead, read that real quick one more time, then bro, we bring that.
Revelation 18:23, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
See that in the book of Nahum. The mistress of witchcraft was selling nations by her water. You know what I'm saying? So they just completely destroyed our people, man. You know what I'm saying? And even they so-called liberated you, but that's just more witchcraft. All right. See, what they did, they done conquered Jake's mind. All right. So all this is going further on into explaining who the beast is. So pretty much the people is already worshiping his image. And we're gonna get back to that in Revelation the 13th chapter, what Michael Allah was reading, but the people is pretty much already worshiping his image, but now he wants you to completely bow down and get that M-A-R-K servitude, man. He wants you to prove to him that you love him, man.
Still. Isaiah 47:10 is talking about the virgin daughter of Babylon, all right, which aka America. Isaiah 47:10 says, "Thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, None seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, that light, that candle."
And real quick, just add on. I'll say none sees me. Why? Because that whore that rises upon the beast used the beast to do all her bidding. None see you. Nobody don't know America behind us, but we have been revealed into the prophets, man. We know who controlling all these different disasters across the world, all these different economic hitmen, all these different heart machines going out. You know what I'm saying? Weather fucking crazy. You got different generals of your opposing nations dying, earthquakes happening, in diverse places,
And that's why you go into that on the Rush Hour movie. The stuff was like You want to find what the enemy is, all of the money. You know, who benefits from all of these disasters on earth? Hurts everybody, you know. You think about a market, you know, green and red, you saw niggas on top get paid for both sides. You know, they crashing the system and they're still making money, you know. So that's how you know who's really in control of the world, because they're the ones you can't speak about and the ones that are making all the money. All these urges and everything, you know, banks collapsing and getting ate up, you know, T-Mobile coming, swallowing up, spreading all these companies consolidating. Who's at the top of this pyramid? You know, so what man you saw easily.
Yeah, that's definitely done that because I show you big banks take little banks. We've seen that now with the banks. We know it's going in the direction of BBDC.
Because that's what his appetite is. It says it desires as health. Now, how do you think he consumes everything by his wealth? You know, and that's why a 4.2 in the 18th chapter talks about this place called America being that great merchant city. What do you do with merchandise? You buy and you sell. Flow of goods is called commerce. You know, that's why you have highways, you have traffic. You know, that's how this man got so rich, because the flow of goods and services. You know, country America is all about the flow of entertainment. You know, ultimately trading of goods. You know, so without, you know, this going to the MOTP, the foreign part of country freedom of it involving buying and selling, that's how you know you niggas don't have the truth. You know, it's all about buying, selling, selling stuff, because it talks about the love of money is root of all evil. Where's the root come from? It comes from the nigga that's on the $10 bill. You know, the so-called leaders, they're going to East, right? Job 9:24, the earth's given into the hand of the wicked. How should I say even the time back then? He said niggas trying to fuck with him. Matthew 5th chapter. He said, who's on this damn money? You know, Caesar. You know, so bring out the Caesar was Caesar. So this is his system. You know, so what do you want to do? He wants you to be involved by the buying and selling.
Isaiah 47:10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth thee. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am he, and none else beside me.
Call yourself the Most High, man. Go ahead.
Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And,
I'll be glad. It's a great judgment coming. But go ahead.
and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. The point. Stand now with thine enchantment, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, when thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail.
So be, because often, like the brother Malachi read in Daniel the 4th chapter, the Lord gave you that power. So it don't matter who the hell you call on, man. The Lord, he done put out that candle. There's no more wisdom in teaming. All right, there's nothing that you can do to further your agenda. He said, bounds that man cannot pass.
Right. That's the Lord taking back the power from him. That's what the scripture says. That skirt has been lifted up. You know, that nakedness has been revealed. The Lord took that power and exposing now.
But my God.
And still labor from thy youth, you know, going to the beginning of this whole establishment, how does this, then he came in the fire, and he was all this witchcraft, you know, even especially going to DC. This is stuff they knew before he came to the truth, you know, about the whole city is set up pretty much devil worship. They got upside down pentagrams, and, you know, as above, so below, you know, Abraham Lincoln, and all the damn, I think it's Abraham Lincoln, or it might be George Washington. I think George Washington, he got his hands up like this, you know. It was going to, because the independence of so-called America started with Freemasonry in 1776. It wasn't it was pretty much the beginning of this nigga coming in. That's what Freemasonry is all about. It's about witchcraft.
Well, they got the independence. Really taking off around 620. They got both of the slaves over here, bro. Jacob and Ephraim, Jacob and Israel, pressed together. Yeah, my God.
Revelation 13, verse 14, it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which ye have power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did it.
The image is going into the Roman system, just like everything you were just speaking about, the upside down pyramid, or all the like the how you say, like the building, like the construction infrastructure, like how they create these buildings and they set up what they worship. We got up on the Julian calendar. Yeah, the architecture, you know what I'm saying? All these so-called holidays. It's a whole Roman vibration, nothing. cutthroat homosexuality. You know what I'm saying? Just incest. This is the foul place. It's just that Rome was. But why do you think the Lord took out all these other different empires and kingdoms? Because they wasn't living they wasn't living by the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why it's known as a beast coming up. You know, brute beast. You know what I'm saying? Unreasonable. They're not following the law and commandments of the Lord, so it's not going to survive. It's not going to thrive.
But briefly too, just to back the brother up, showing that the connection between ancient Rome and Egypt, spiritual Egypt, because this place is known to be spiritual Sodom and Egypt. You have the three obelisks in Manhattan, okay, which has the architect structure aligned with the Orion's belt, which when you go into Orion and Osiris, the affiliation to the rebirth god, okay, which is who the Romans gave reverence to, okay.
Ultimately you're going into that new world order, which is that controlling the world in the power of the world is in the hands of a few. Okay. And that's ultimately what he's been pushing on the people is to basically give power over to them. And you people are willingly doing this. You're willingly doing it to be living a complacent lifestyle, but really you're not living a complacent lifestyle, you're being more and more restricted.
Well, your boy we called Suave, said you should own nothing.
That's what these devils. This is what they're going towards, man. They made you fall in love with their money. And then they gave it to you freely. You bought all these nice things with it, and now they're taking the rug from underneath you.
And just to add on too, because just like in the time of Rome, where it was devaluing the money, they kept cutting it with inferior metals. So just like now, obviously you ain't got nothing but a piece of paper. It's not backed by nothing. But now they causing what hyperinflation. So pretty, you already worshiping the image. You know what I'm saying? But now, like brother just said, it's time to sit. They want you to steal that deal. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because you go get that in the second chapter, but he want to sit in that throne as the Most High. His brother read in Isaiah 47 chapter. He said that I am, and there is none with me. Like, bro, that's what the Lord said in Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter, bro. So you know what I'm saying? This is the type of level he don't really think he on, bro.
Because ultimately, that's the thing that failed with the old, the Roman Empire is that they didn't have things that they have now to be able to brand you. Okay, you could leave, you could flee the country or any territory that Rome earned, control over. But now it's all over the earth. Now their power has reached to the four corners of the earth, man. Now there is no running. Now you can't. Oh well, fuck it, I'm gonna live off the grid. Well, how you gonna buy shit? How you gonna get? And that's where they're leaning towards is with this thing. Their brand is like, look, you either got my name on you, or you ain't gonna have access to none that I own.
That's heavy because they set up an infrastructure, man. No, and I forgot who was the devil that said it, but basically who controls the money,
Control the money. I can who make the law.
That's right. Yeah.
Really? Revelation 13 and verse 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
You don't want to go. You don't want to adhere to these guidelines. You don't want to stick with the program. You see what they do to these people that try to become whistleblowers, man. Try to expose them. Be like, oh hell, I see where they're going. Now they kill you, man. They take you out. You wake up in the morning and talk about he died of an infectious disease, or his car exploded when he got in, and blame it on a terrorist attack. Plane crash. Yeah, it is plane crash, or diagnosed. They shoot some shit into your medication that you're supposed to be getting. They give you a placebo shit with some venom in it that you take and die. Look what they did to Michael Jackson. Basically the same shit, man. And ultimately, now what they're gonna do is on a grand scale, they're gonna label you a terrorist, deem you a threat to society because you're coming up against their system that they're trying to implement that everybody's worshiping. Everybody's like, oh, there ain't no way. You're the bad. What are you trying to do? And they come at you, man.
Yeah, and that's why they don't declare martial law. Because that's what Esau does. When you don't want to cooperate, you'll send it to the military. You start saying, think about over there in Libya, what's saying, they'll do, their propaganda, and justify their cause and have niggas hooing and hollering to go over there and fight their wars. You have the same thing here in the streets of America. Oh, this like niggas doing with the juices. I fight you because I ain't taking that boy. They're gonna do the same thing. How much more when the squeeze comes? People gonna be sick and tired. They're gonna start fighting each other, and that's what each other bring. Brother bring up problem with the action solution.
And with that new bill that passed, that 262 or whatever it was, I got it written down somewhere. I'm gonna read into it. But they call it the, the unofficial name for it is the TikTok bill. But it's basically, you see how they've been doing with TikTok, and they've been saying that, oh, this is a Chinese app that they're using to spy on Americans and to dumb down Americans. Well, now anybody who thinks about TikTok, now their mindset is, oh, well, this is a Chinese shit. So now they have this bill where it's banning that app and other things like it. So in the back of people's minds is like, well, if you're associated with TikTok, then you must be for China. And we're going to be at war with China here soon. So they're going to be like, well, you're a threat. You're aligning yourself with them. And that's not the whole bill, man. You read into it, and I was just going over a glimpse of it. There's a bunch of shit on there that they're restricting, that they're limiting and watching you to see who, and this goes back to what we've been talking about for years, man. The A list, the black list, the red list. They watching what you watch, man. Going all the way back to the Patriot Act. Okay? See, Esau has put these systems in place so that when the time comes, you're gonna be targeted if you have anything to do with something that's against what they're saying, man. Okay, look at just a couple years back with the whole C-19, man. Anybody saying anything, no matter what degrees you have, levels of expertise, your ass was canceled. Your videos taken down, people fired. Okay,
so where's your constitution?
Right.
Freedom of speech. Get rid of it, man. Just forget about it.
And see, one of the things, I've seen a video of one of those C-SPAN proceedings of one of the court hearings that they were having, and it was they had the board of Twitter on there, and the lady was asking the one of the judges or whatever the heck they're called. They were asking the CEO or one of the higher ups on Twitter. They were like, "What's your medical background?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't have any." So then they were like, "Well, so then how are you going and taking down content and posts and articles from people who have medical backgrounds? What made you what expertise did you get to cancel, to say that what they were saying was false?" So the people who are in control of these things don't even have knowledge of what they're doing. They're just doing, they have a task to do, and is, okay, if this isn't what the agenda is, we got to take it off, we got to take it down. We got to take it off. And eventually what they're going to try to take down is this truth, man. The famine of the word. Because the famine of the word is exposing and telling you everything that this devil's doing. Okay, down to this MOTB. It tells you how he's going to do it. Okay, little by little. All right, go ahead.
Man, we're not worship the end of the beast. Go ahead.
Revelation 13, verse 16.
Real quick though, before you read that, so it's obvious who the beast is, who's controlling this beast, what is the beast. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to get into what mark you want to put on you, okay? Go ahead.
Revelation 13, verse 16, it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead."
Right, go ahead and grab that word mark. And he calls it all. Right, so this beast, he's not playing. You see, he reaches to the four corners of the earth. And we're going to prove it with this. You know what I'm saying? Because he calls it all. Right.
It says, "A stamped and printed mark." It says, "Of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist."
You know, a badge that's presenting you what your servitude. You're making a covenant with him. All right. Which really, it don't matter about all you other nations. It only matters about you Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Right. Because we are already in a covenant with the Lord. we are the chosen nation. All right, we're gonna get a little further into that soon. But you pretty much, hey, this he wants you to make a servitude. He wants you to show your servitude to him. He wants you to make a covenant with him. Go ahead, continue, bro.
Says the mark granted on horses. There's a thing
They
called
show ownership. They show like who that horse belongs to.
there's a thing carved, sculpture, graven work.
Yeah, go down to the Strong's definition at the bottom.
Strong definition, it says a scratch or there's a scratch or etching, a stamp as a badge of servitude, or sculptured figure, statue.
Go ahead, read that.
Scratch, etymology, and it says mark or wound slightly on the surface by scratching or tearing action with something rough, sharp, or pointed, probably a fusion of Middle English.
Yeah, pretty much a scratch. You got to get cut open, which is going to go to the next word. You click on that. Hold that real quick. But it's a physical device, all right, which is a radio frequency identification. All right.
Yeah, so I want to make a quick point. So regardless if you have chips in your devices, your cell phone, your card, he's saying you have to be scratched, man. All right. So all you people talking about, oh, we already got the MOTB. It's in our phones. It's in our cards. You ain't been scratched, man. Exactly. It's talking about something you have to physically be scratched by that instrument, that needle.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get scratched is you draw the blood. Yeah, that's that covenant, right?
On the other hand, yeah, he's still trying to seal a deal with taking perpetual slavery at all. So he's trying to establish that digital law also. That's what made a slave in ancient times.
What next word?
Well, real quick before you continue, let me get this quick precept in Luke 19 and get a quick word in here. This is Luke 19 and 43. For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, encompass thee around, and keep thee on every side. Now we know that this is talking about 70 AD, but real quick, because this is playing out again here on the earth, except this time Esau Edom he's not sending his troops to cast a literal trench around you, because that's what happened to Jerusalem. They closed it off. You know, they built a fence around Jerusalem so no one can come in and go out. So they were starving them out. Let's go into this word trench real quick. The brother just went into the word charagma, which is to make a scratch. Okay, how he's gonna make that scratch with this? See, look, the Greek word here for trench is karak, which is the word that we're gonna go into here next, and it says to sharpen to a point through the idea of scratching. So how is he going to come about? He's going to come and then trench you set up a trench, which is the tool of how he's going to put the charagma in you, man. All right. So it says a pale or stake, a palisade. It says pales between which earth, because that's what they did before. They had the fence. And what do you do with the fence post and make it sharp so it'll stick into the ground? Well, how is he going to do that now? It's going to be through this the charagma, man, the karaks, which is through his going into the whole the needles, man. You know, going and touching into surface with the medical industry. You know, that part of Esau's witchcraft. Okay, so I'll read that precept again. All right, Luke 19 and 43. And again, this is talking about 70 AD, which was Yahushua prophesying to them. But again, you can see how Esau is doing the same shit again today, except he's doing it by different means.
When you think about it, like the brother about to go into, when you see the town, you know what you would do is set up, you set up that barricade, like you was going into that trench where you could stop the food supplies, and spiritually, see, that's a twofold, because that's what Esau's doing now too, cutting off. He's gonna choke Jake out to a beating. You know, this is the only way you're gonna survive if you break to our will. You know?
The dollars collapse. You know, your foods are hyperinflation. You know, pricing is through the roof.
That's right.
You know, we're gonna fix things, but this is how we're gonna do it, and this is how you gotta get it. So real quick, Luke 19:43 again, and then you brothers got it. For the days shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee. And this the thing is that they're gonna engulf you with this thing, man. It's gonna be everywhere around you. Okay, you gotta have to be connected to your TV, to your internet, to have cellular service, to get on a bus, to get into your car. All these things is gonna be with the Karabba, man. All right. So it says, shall cast a trench about thee, encompass thee round, and keep thee on every side, man. See, this is how he's able to keep you in line. Is going to be through that trench that he's engulfed you in, okay? Which eventually he's going to put it in you, man.
It said he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor. You should not get a vow, nor sell, say he that has mark. You want the word mark. You just brought out that word trench. In order to make a trench, you have to do what? You have to dig. So go ahead and grab that, and you grab that. What is it?
Is
So that's the root word of Karabba.
there's a pale or stake, a palisade.
You good right there. Go ahead. Read that state comment.
This stake in etymology, it says pointed stick or post.
Go down to the strong.
Stick of wood sharpened at one end for driving into the ground use as part of the fence.
That driving to the ground, you gonna be the ground, your hand, your forehead. You're gonna need something to scratch you, to open you up, to inject, that physical device, that radio frequency identification, man. All right. And that you're gonna need that because it goes to what? The buying or selling. That let you know it's a device. So what is it gonna just scratch you? But no, you need to have something, you gotta have that mark. It ain't you get a scratch, that should have healed. No, it's gonna be something that's implemented inside of you, something that's inserted inside of you. You finish that, then grab that next group, then you grab that one.
As a boundary mark, and just real quick, when you think about it, that's Esau still in the mark on the left hand side, because what the Lord is doing is still in the mark on the right hand side. And for people to chapter in the 4th verse, the mark of exemption, Esau still in the mark of destruction.
Is the Strong's definitions of corrupt. It says,
Oh, you on the strong? I'm sorry. Go ahead, read that.
Yeah, it says to sharpen to a point. It says through the idea of scratching, a stake, by implication, a palisade or rampart, military mound for circumvallation in a siege trench.
Yeah, pretty much. People have been sieged. The city is already sieged. That's why they got these man-made famines, the collapsing of the dollar. So ultimately, what they digging that trench around you, like we just going into a trench that's made by digging in. So pretty much, like we were going to earlier, the scripture has to be read metaphorically in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? So Esau Edom, he planned on, but in order for you to receive his mark, you have to be scratched. He's going to have to dig into you and let you have it.
Yeah, dig up the track. So that's why you got those cats, in the world giving out warning. Davos, my brother was just watching earlier. Redacted. These cats are seeing that. Look, get your money out, so we got to fight back up, because they see the government is trapping the people, building that trench.
So the next word, my friend. Graph is where you get the word graph from. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what's on the graph is information. So you have what your data, your social, and even going to what the social credit scores, your financial information, your medical information, all these things. So that show you that what is that CVIP is going to be what programmed. It's going to have, you know what I'm saying? It's going to have your information on it. Just as you got your phone, what they call your phone, your second brain. All your information is already programmed on this one. Why you get those certain algorithms, so on and so forth. But what that CVIP will even be programmed. It's going to have all your data, all your information on it, and they're going to want to put that in you.
Yep. Tracking your carbon footprint, carbon emission.
So all these things, I would say at the end, is your speech. You can read a few definitions on that.
Yep.
You can just pretty much read the first one.
It says to write with reference to the form of letters.
creation going to be documented on that. Go ahead, Malaki.
This is from Fox10TV.com. It's published April 13, 2022. It reads, it says, the title, it says, micro C-hip implant lets you pay with your hand. All right, it says, instead of carrying your wallet in your purse or back pocket, a technology company wants you to carry it under your skin. How's that for convenience? It's either it's dope or dystopian. The British-Polish company Walletmore is selling micro C-hips as alternate payment options that lets you pay with your hand.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you got to get on that article right there. But what? It's already been implemented around the world. It's already been not implemented. It's not mandated, but here this creation is already out. All right, this technology is already out. And what do you say? He wanted you can pay with your hand. You ain't got to worry about having your wallet or your purse. Let's show you what these CBDCs are leading to, man. What that palm scanning and all that is leading to. To the point you're not gonna it ain't gonna just be like your fingerprints, biometrics, and you know what I'm saying. You can use your phone. They go in your credit card because when you listen to going cashless and just digital, everybody think that they can just swipe their cards and continue. But no, his plan is to have full control. How you gonna have full control of you with fitting inside of you? They'll go all everything that you're seeing right now ties in with the social credit scores and all these things. Buying and selling because you're not gonna be able to escape that.
So, you know, at every ATM you go to now, you used to have a little. They still have the slots where you slide your card in, but now they also have those the chip readers on the ATM. So all you should just pull your phone out, put it on there, or tap your card on there, and it'll open up your account so you can put your PIN in.
Yep. Tap to pay. Tap to pay. That's showing you that they gradually setting up mark so you can get to tap and pay.
And there was that grocery store just recently that they came out with the palm reader, and you can just Amazon or something like that. But first, when you first sign up, you got to put your card on there, and then it'll scan your palm. So now it has the print of your palm attached to that card. So then the next time you come, all you got to do is when you're walking into the store, is scan your palm, and then you start grabbing shit, and it's gonna charge you as you're grabbing stuff, and then you can just walk out, and it's gonna scan everything that you had in there. You go to these gas stations. The Circle K's, they have them now where you just put the items down on the little machine and it scans them. It don't scan the barcode. It scans the item and knows what it is, and you just pay, and then you go. You grab your shit and you go, man. So they have these technologies out. The technology's already out there. You don't have to ring up shit. You just put it down, and you're gonna put it down in your car. It's gonna scan it. Okay, boop. It's gonna start taking shit out your account automatically, man. This is what the whole idea that the whole premise behind the Fed Now payment system that they're coming out in June, man. They're coming out with this system in June, which is a couple months away, man. And starting April 1st, they're going cashless, man. You're gonna start seeing a lot of the companies start taking less and less cash to the point to where they ain't gonna have no more. And then the Fed Now system is gonna be implemented. Okay, so again, they're doing these things in steps, but the technology is already out there. They just had to get people to go to be familiar. You know, they wanted to familiarize people with the technology so that when it comes out, they're like, oh yeah, see, I remember this. It's easy. Yeah, look how easy it is, and it's safer. I don't have to worry about losing my wallet, my card. You know, none of that. Now it's just easy, just 1, 2, 3. Okay.
What the other brother and brother illustrating through the spirit is the fact of a new world is being manifested right in front of you. You know, going into the fourth industrial revolution, all right, the CBDC system, central bank digital currency, all right, where they're establishing a new world order, okay? In order for you to be able to navigate in this digital society that's being created, okay, with this 5G technology, you need a key, all right? That key is going to consist of the MOTB, with the brother expounding on.
So with that being said, you know who the beast is, you know what his mark is. And now we're going to go into why you Israelites, so-called amigos, Latinos, Native American Indians should not take it. You can don't know what that Deuteronomy 14.
This is Deuteronomy 14:2. For thou art an holy people unto thy Lord, the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, thy power, and the Lord have chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth.
All right, the Lord chose us. We call by His name. All right. So pretty much it's a judgment for this. We already have a power. We already have someone that we belong to. So when I was going to earlier, you take that mark. That's showing your servitude. That means you calling Esau, Edom your God. That means you here to worship the system. All right. But we already have a God. We already have somebody to worship Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai. Go ahead, Malachi.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 135, verse 4. For the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, hath chosen Jacob unto himself, and Israel for his peculiar treasure.
Right. We are chosen people. We separate from the rest of these nations. So the hell with the rest of these nations, the time that we coming into is the time of Jacob's trouble. So this is the ultimate test. Like we said, the hell with these other nations, man. It don't matter they take this seed or not. It's all about you Israelites. If you take it, this great judgment, which we're about to get into, is going to come upon you. You know? You have something, man?
Yeah. Trying to get the blue letter on this damn thing. Let me just read the precept while the blue letter loads up. This is Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 28. It says, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord." See, so this is a law of the Heavenly Father, of course, that tells us that we can't make any cuttings in our flesh, and also no marks. And real quick, I want to get that word there for marks, okay? Because again, brothers, we're going into the whole breakdown of the word charagma, which is the word mark in Revelation 13 and 16. All right, which it goes into the palisade, the karax, which is to make a cutting or scratching into you. Well, the Lord said you can't do that. All right, so let's get this word there for any markings. Let's get that word there for mark here, and Leviticus 19 and 28. And the word here in the Hebrew is kwai, okay, and it says an incision, imprintment, tattoo, okay. It says an incision or gash. All right, so let's go into this word incision and the etymology, which the root of it is incise. Okay, let's get that word there, incise, and it says to make a cut. Okay, to cut. So the Lord is telling you not to do these things, man. He said, this is the law, man. This is in the book of the law of the Heavenly Father, man. He said not to do this, not to get no marks upon you, man. Okay? And the Lord, the first commandment is what? To worship the Lord and no other power, man. You getting a branding, you getting a brand of another person, of somebody else put upon you, and that's you worshiping this image, man. You're worshiping the beast. Okay, you getting his brand upon you is you worshiping this system, this beast, all right, this devil as your power, as your source to life. But see, we understand who the true source of life is, and that's the Heavenly Father. Everything else leads on to death, man. Okay, but go ahead, brothers.
Yes, you already. Go to verse 17. So we didn't read verse 17 of Revelation.
Revelation 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
All right, so no man might buy or sell save he that had that mark. All right, so you're going to have, like we wanted to that scratch, the physical implementation of that device. You're going to have to be able to receive that. It says, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. You can read the last verse.
Verse 18, here is the wisdom. Well, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, 66.
All right, I go to the blue letter because, like the brother wanted to that word cut, wanted to qualify that, made that incision. So cut, that goes back to what 6. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much we already been betrothed unto one. Apostle Paul said, "I betrothed you unto one husband." What presents you as a chaste virgin. Hey, so you got to be pure, you got to be clean. But Esau, he's trying to pierce you, he's trying to cut you, and that's what that number 6 go back to. Also going to the Chi stigma. All right. So yeah. And so go down to stigma.
No, you got that Galatians 6.
No,
Got it on there?
you got it. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
G 4742, stigma. Stigma.
A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. Ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master and commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate that what master or general they belong to.
Now we're going back to why you should not take it, because we are belonging to the Lord. But if you receive them, if you receive the mark, the MOTB, okay, you showing that you belong to Him. So even His number, you know, His number is it's a whole psyop, man. He already got you people worshiping the image. So now He's just ready to prick. He's ready to cut you. So like,
Put his seal of approval on you.
exactly, feel the deal.
And the C19 incident was like a preheat. 6 weeks. You had motherfuckers who literally 6 feet, like it was serious about it.
Right.
He just put 666s all over the fucking country, man. All right, heavy enchantments went out. A lot of you was worshiping it. A lot of you was down with it, man. So it was like the brother said, what you said, preheat you know, basically how you preheat the oven before you cook something. So man, he about to get ready to cook y'all, man. Also the Most High, you know.
That's why it was talk. The brother was mentioning about, you know, us being espoused unto one, being Yahushai. You know, all Israel is, man. You know, but you Israelites, the majority of y'all are counted as heathen because you've been admonished 2 or 3 times, man. And you're not going to adhere to the words of the Heavenly Father. So what you're going to be is looked at as a stranger unto the Lord. The Lord's going to be like, I don't know you. You got another name of a nigga on you. That ain't my name. I don't know you. Depart from me, you workers of iniquity. That's what He's going to say to y'all. And y'all going to get what? Bundled up and hewn into the fire, man. Okay? But real quick, because the word stigma is made one, it's used in one of the precepts in the Old and the New Testament is in Galatians. Because this is the mark that you should have. Galatians 6:17, it says, from henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahushai. So with that word mark there is the stigma. So we have His brand upon us, man. The prophets, the elect, those that are going to be delivered in these last days are going to have the mark of Yahushai, which is that badge of exemption. Okay, so we're going to have the blood of Yahushai on our doorposts, meaning our minds, man. And we're going to be passed over in this time of judgment that's getting ready to come to those that worship the beast in His image. And it had his mark, man. Okay?
Exodus 20, 21. Whoever got Exodus 21 started now.
You want to start at top?
I'm start that talk real quick.
Exodus 21, verse 1. It says, now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before him. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. Verse 3 says, if he come in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master, verse 4, have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. Verse 5 says, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife and my children, I will not go out. I will not go out free.
That's why the Lord said you got to deny all, you know. So that,
Majority of these people are going to be in that spirit of Lot's wife, man. Not being able to not looking back. You know, that's why a lot of you people you don't want us to come to serve the Lord because you can't give up the things, okay, that are upon this earth, man. It's not so much that you just got to let things go. You just got to know what the true goal is and what the true, you got to understand what the Lord wants, man, and know that comes first. Okay, because just like Lot's wife, she looked back. Why? Because she missed those things and she didn't want to let them go. She wanted to return back to go back. She couldn't believe that all that they lived for and did over there in Sodom, okay, that it was going to be all destroyed. So what happened? She got killed, man. She got turned into a pillar of salt. Okay,
people can hold on to their riches. People say, what? I love my master. I worship money. So now all money is digital. They gonna put their hand out to receive that.
I love my children too much to see them suffer. They need that. How they gonna eat?
They're gonna try to hold into their life. They're gonna try to hold into this world.
They labor so hard, man. We work 10, 20 years to get that big house and to finally get that Benz. You know, your savings account, you finally saved up 20, 30,000. You know what I'm saying? You finally got this new promotion, you know, so you're gonna wanna save all that, man. All right, scripture saying you need to save his lifestyle. Got it.
Exodus 21, verse 6, it says, Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, unto the door post, and his master shall bore his ear.
You know, or going to what? Pierce. You know what I'm saying? Going back to what? That corrupt to pierce you, to open you up and place his mark inside you. Go ahead.
Yep. And his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever.
Right. So basically, like if you take that, you pretty much said that you don't want to deal with the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You rather serve Esau. All right, and it's a great judgment for that, and you receive that. Read that Revelation 16.
Just like that word "old."
That's bad.
Right. The boring instrument, the boring, you know, the boring is the instrument of how you put the hole in.
That was it.
H 4836, it says all boring instruments.
You know, again, you taking that, you getting that allowing Esau to bore you in, you know, penetrate your ass. Because what does a woman do? What a man is supposed to? When a man goes into a woman, she becomes his wife. Or that's how shit should be. So what she do? She takes on his lane. Okay, so it's the same thing that Esau's trying to do. He's just trying to seize y'all up, man. To say, look, this is mine now. And nah, you gotta pay. And you people gotta go too, because what? You need to scream out.
Yeah.
You need to cry out for help.
It's Revelation 16:2. And the first one went and poured out his veil upon the earth, and there fell a worrisome and gruesome, a grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image.
Get that word sore. That fell out of a noisome and gruesome sore. You know what I'm saying? Upon them that received his mark. All right? So let's see what the word sore got for us.
Word sore going into the Greek.
Like your whole Revelation.
1668.
Helkos,
Elkos.
a wound producing a discharge, plus a sore, a ukler.
Yeah, so you ain't gonna be able to hide that you got that mark, man. And you naturally hard that hide that you got it from your Howard shop, man. He know who are his, man.
It's basically you gonna get an infection.
Exactly.
It's gonna go in onto you.
Dirty. Esau is filthy, man. Look at Esau, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, ball shot real quick, because that skin, your skin is the first line of defense.
Right.
It's a barrier to protect you from infection.
Mm-hmm.
Once that barrier is broken, you've been compromised. All right? Something foreign is entered into your body. You know?
You want to scratch you. Yeah. You want to open you up and leave his sauce in there. That venom, they flee from sin as the face of a serpent. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because he's venomous. He want to pierce you through his veins. You know what I'm saying? And what? They want to show forth that you will have a disease. All right? You go ahead, bro.
Them niggas that say they gonna take it out the last second.
Exactly.
You already
The Lord is looking for chaste virgins. Pure.
He done broke your mind.
Right.
He done penetrated your mind. He done took you already. Even if you physically take it out, he already done he already done took your mind, man. All right, you already done committed the fornication, bro. And it's spiritual, adultery. You already done committed it with him. You know what I'm saying? So you can take it out and wipe your mouth and say you ain't done nothing, but he already committed fornication with him.
You know, it's just like a woman. Once that honey is it?
The
hymen is cut. Hey, ain't no putting that thing back together. You know, you got surgeries now that Esau do, but this ain't happening, man. Not with the Lord.
You gonna burn surgery by the missiles?
Yeah, sometimes, bro. You got penetrated. You got cut. You made that covenant with blood, okay? Because what happened when you get pricked? They got to get the little swab afterwards and dab it and put a Band-Aid over and say don't do any physical shit for like 30 minutes or whatever they say, you know. But you're gonna be making a covenant with Esau, man, in blood, okay? But you can't get away. How are you gonna get away from the Lord? Now you standing out like a sore thumb.
You can tell when your woman being messed around. You know what I'm saying?
Who told you were naked?
Right, exactly.
That mark up.
Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink up the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
That's going to those chariots zapping you out, and also those nuclear missiles flying, man. You're going to be tormented before the angels. Hey, we also are the angels, man, the whole elect. And we're going to be beamed up, and we're going to be watching people melt. We're going to be watching you be tormented before the angels and the Holy Lamb. That next verse read. I'm spending about 10 read 11.
Verse 11. The smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name.
Right. So if you receive that mark, man, you gonna be burnt. However long the Lord said you gonna be burning up down here, man. And we gonna be watching you. And that was scripture say, the remnant was frightened because of the way that you suffering. We gonna be like, damn. So why they how about you how for delivering us? Well, Malachi, last script.
It's the book of Revelation 19, starting at verse 19. It says, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse.
Yeah, you can read that up. Second Ezra, the 13th chapter. So they were scared. He does fight. Go ahead.
And against his army, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him,
or the Roman Catholic Church,
with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast.
Yeah, and also don't false prophet that's saying this is not the MOTB is not the seal. Because if you don't believe that the MOTB is the seal, that means you don't believe there's no judgment or punishment if you take it. All right, so now you've been deceived, and now you must reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to feel that fire from the Lord. Go ahead.
It says, and them that worship his image, these both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone, and the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
Yep. The beast was taken, and them that worship his image and received his mark. So we don't already cover what the beast is. We done cover, you know what I'm saying, what the mark is, why you shouldn't take it, and what happens if you do take it. So, all right, you trying to, the scripture says, go hand joined and hand in hand, the wicked should not go unpunished. So now that you have received that, hey, Yahweh, he's not coming back to play with anybody. You know what I'm saying? You of Israel, you're not part of the elect, you receive that mark, you're going to be destroyed, and this beast, this whole system is going to be overthrown. All right? Any brother got anything else to add? So that we pray this was edifying exhort. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, God with us.
The honors to the apostles and elders that great millstone rule well. Peace, salutation, hopefully, shalom.
Shalom.